Another question. Dennis.
My question is, and this is more directed to you, John, because I really agree very largely with all the points Hans was making, but aren't you focusing in your talk on the wrong things when you talk about the threat to civil liberties? That is, I think there are some really genuine, horrifying attacks on civil liberties coming now from the cultural left, abetted by the Obama administration. Most particularly, I think all these things related to attacks on people who have opposed gay marriage, photographers being dragooned into going out and taking pictures that they don't want to take. Yet at the same time, it was interesting to me that you didn't mention any of cases like that, and yet you did mention, for example, the GPS case. It seems to me that the GPS case, well, had I been on the Supreme Court, would have voted with the bipartisan unanimous majority that would have said that went a little too far. Wasn't the Obama administration here just taking the position that any administration, except Ron Paul's, and God forbid we should ever get him, but any other administration from Marco Rubio through Hillary Clinton would take, that there's a knee-jerk, if you're prosecutors, there is a knee-jerk reaction to just defend any prosecutorial prerogative, any prosecutorial tactic. And if anything, wasn't it something of a relief, given what Hans was talking about quite appropriately with the far left tilt of the Justice Department, that nonetheless, even the Eric Holder Justice Department took this prosecutorial position, if anything, went too far toward the conservative law and order position. They went too far, and the Supreme Court 9-0 said that goes a little too far.
Okay, I take your point seriously. Just a couple of responses. First of all, the answer is no. I can assure you a Marco Rubio administration would not take that position. I can assure you a Ronald Reagan administration would not have taken that position. I can guarantee you Ed Meese would not take that position, because I've talked to Ed Meese about that, and he was the Attorney General under Ronald Reagan. So that part,
it's after the fact.
look, do I get to answer, or do I get to have a debate with you? If you want to have a debate with me, we can go outside. Do I get to answer?
Yes.
Okay. The answer to your point is no, it is not true. Is there anyone here who believes that every Republican administration would have just said that the government has the right to put a GPS tracking device on your car without a court order, without a search warrant, without any evidence of a crime? Raise your hand.
I absolutely
Raise your hand.
Yeah.
I absolutely
There's one. Anyone else?
Can I ask you?
No. Let me finish. Sir, I'm finishing.
If your response is going to
Let
No,
him finish.
I'm finishing.
to the Tea Party,
We're having a
no,
debate.
you don't get to
If
answer
Osama
that.
bin
Let's
Laden
have
was
an
in New York
Excuse me. Moderator. I prefaced this by saying if you want a debate, we'll have one outside.
Okay, let's
and
do
you
it
disagreed
outside.
with me, and you're having a debate here.
Let's
You
have
want to go
an
outside right now?
intellectual debate. Yeah.
You want to go? Okay,
Yes.
let's go outside right now.
You know what, Dennis? Hey, Dennis, you came to hear him, not you.
I am answering your question.
If I had a crowd of social conservatives or
We came to hear him, not you.
That's classy.
The way this works is,
Ronald Reagan would be ashamed.
Please.
the way
You know
this
what?
works is,
I'm sitting here taking the position
I'm
that
walking out.
We don't want to hear you
Dennis,
anymore.
please.
I'm walking out of this
if
thing.
the Tea
Please,
Party
Dennis, have a
nuts
seat.
don't want to hear me, fine.
Did you guys miss the Bush administration?
I'm
or what?
walking out.
When you write a book, when you're the guest, then you get to speak. Otherwise, shut the fuck up.
Listen, everyone please put a lid on it.
The rules of the game are, if you want to be the speaker, you can apply to the Federalist Society chapter of Long Island, and they will make you a speaker.
We have already,
Okay.
but not today.
He still won't stop.
Yeah.
Look,
Let him answer.
do I get to answer the question or
You
not?
get to answer, but
Why don't you get to shut up already?
You tell him to shut up one more time, and you shut up.
Hey, not speak. Listen, hey, don't be telling them.
They have to
Relax.
leave.
Relax.
I don't mind.
Get out
You know,
I didn't join
we
this
just-
party for this.
Well, then
we
leave.
just took-
We're not
we
interested
just-
in
If Osama
hearing
bin
you.
Laden was in New York
We're
City
not
with a nuclear bomb
interested
right
in
now,
hearing
you bet I'd want a GPS on his car. That's enough.
Don,
Ridiculous.
talk to me.
Yeah, I would take control around
Talk
the
to me.
No,
talk to me.
Okay,
All
I
right,
guess I'm
we
leaving.
gotta stop the outburst, okay?
Look,
You'll have a chance to ask a question, but no speeches, no contentious debates. We have two very qualified speakers. If you don't like what they have to say, that's too bad. I'm sorry. All right?
we took a vote in this
Let him
room.
finish what he was saying. He was finishing his comments.
I guess maybe I will. We took a vote in this room. And the vote was on the contention that any Republican administration would do X. And the vote in the room was everybody against two people. Let's just establish that as a fact. If somebody wants to make a third or a fourth, raise your hand right now. No. So it's everybody in this room versus two people. That's fact number one. Fact number two, I have written on the New Mexico case on the gay photographer. I have written on the Nevada case on the gay photographer. I've written on every single one of the gay photographer cases. All of them. And if you have evidence to the contrary, I will allow you to submit it, but you won't because it's not the case. All of them were brought by state-level enforcement agencies. The Human Rights Commission in New Mexico, the Human Rights Commission in Nevada. They were not brought by the U.S. Department of Justice, which is the subject of the book Hans and I are discussing tonight. So for you to bring up the gay photographer issue is a complete red herring because those are state-level
I
cases.
said abetted by.
You're done.
No,
I give up.
All right.
I give up.
Let me make a point.
Let him
I give
finish.
up.
Let him finish.
Let me make a.
Out of 35 years, and I will, you just told your audience, yes, and I was your audience, and I have 35 rock-rim, right-wing Republican cops, I can turn them against you in the same way as soft and Why would I ever
Have any supporters here other than this gentleman?
Why don't you have any, John? Any tiny audience of no one.
Then where are you going?
You gotta stop.
I'm gonna get this moron.
Dennis, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
He did go to Harvard, you didn't, so.
You know what?
What does that mean? They're both IBD, so. Great, great. What does that prove?
Thank you, John.
It's really not fair. It's really not fair. It's not fair.
You have
It's not
everything.
fair.
You've given me everything.
You're not fair.
Guess what? I gave it, you made me happy.
When you're waiting for your first name?
No, I don't want to. Who's that guy who runs around doing? You're an embarrassment to our
Conversation is over. I've never been a Republican.
Are you still bothered? This is why I fought to try to keep young people in Republicans.
This conversation is not over.
Somebody lost by 5 votes in the House.